It was the beginning of summer, 2005. A man named Eric Morikawa was sitting in his secret hideout, completely immersed in his work, just like any other day. Everything was quiet, until that silence was shattered by a sudden scream coming from the next room. Eric jumped up and rushed out to see what was going on. He headed straight to the room where his partner, Jeremy Lewis, was sitting, and that's when he heard him, talking nervously on the phone. "All right, I'll send you the money you want. There's no need to blow this thing up more than it already is." Jeremy hung up fast, but his face said it all. He was worried. Eric snapped, "What's going on?" "Who was that?" Jeremy tried to play it cool. "Just someone I know. She's asking for a big amount. Says she needs to hit the market and buy a few things." Eric looked at him, suspicious. "Does she know about our story?" Jeremy sighed. "Yeah, but she won't say a word. I promise, I won't let anything happen to you." Eric slapped his forehead like he'd just been hit with a jolt of electricity. "Do you even realize what you've done? You just put over $100 million at risk." But Jeremy just stood there, clinging to his blind faith in her. "Bro, I trust her. She won't say anything. No way." Eric gritted his teeth, his voice low and angry. "And how the hell do you even know her?" Jeremy shrugged, completely unfazed. "Met her at a nightclub." Yep, that's where it all began. And today, I'm going to tell you the story of the most infamous con artist in Las Vegas history. A man who pulled off one of the most brilliant heists ever, scamming some of the biggest, richest casinos in the city, right under the nose of their surveillance cameras. What you're about to hear isn't just a story. It's like something straight out of Breaking Bad. The genius mastermind who plans every move like a chess game, and the reckless partner who keeps dragging them into chaos. In this story, too, we've got the brainiac who thinks 10 steps ahead, and the guy whose job, apparently, is just to mess things up. So buckle up, because we're about to dive deep into the heart of the city of madness, Las Vegas. They call it Sin City for a reason. Vegas, a place where nothing is off limits. Everything forbidden, everything sacred, is up for sale. And it's all 100% legal. Picture this: a city where you can walk past the pyramids of Egypt, the Eiffel Tower, the Arc de Triomphe, even the Sphinx, all within a few blocks. Mini replicas of the world's wonders, glowing in neon lights. Vegas has every kind of restaurant. Japanese, Russian, Chinese, Italian, Indian, you name it, it's there. But the real show starts when the sun goes down. The nights in Vegas are brighter than the days. At its core, this city is designed for one thing: to suck the money right out of your pockets. There are around 130 casinos in Vegas, some of the biggest and most famous in the world. And these aren't small buildings. We're talking massive billion-dollar complexes. What goes on inside them? One thing: gambling. Whether you've got $1 or $1 million, everyone walks in for the same reason: to play. But here's the harsh truth: every game is built to make you lose. It's like PUBG. One player wins, 99 lose. In fact, studies have shown that gambling is an addiction, just like drugs. When a gambler's playing, their brain releases the same chemicals, in the same amounts, as a drug addict's does when they're high. Even the brain folds, the actual structure of a compulsive gambler, looks almost exactly like that of a drug addict. No wonder gambling is forbidden in every major religion, and illegal in most countries. And in these places, we've heard of people dropping dead. Strokes, heart attacks, right after losing everything. Some get killed over unpaid debts. Others take their own lives. But despite all that, here's the crazy part. Vegas casinos make over $200 billion a year. Yep. And the more money there is, the crazier the security systems get. We're talking about high-tech setups made to protect $200 billion in cash. To wrap your head around that number, just remember, 1 billion is 1,000 million. Here's something you need to understand first. Nothing inside a casino is random. Every corner, every light, every sound, it's all designed with one goal in mind: to pull money out of your pockets and make you gamble more and more. And the real trick? Getting winners to lose everything they just won in a matter of minutes. These places are built to disconnect you completely from the outside world. No windows, no clocks, no sense of time. Most casinos even take away your phone when you walk in, claiming it's for security or to prevent cheating. But the real reason? To trap you in a fantasy where there's nothing to remind you of reality. No daylight, no distractions, just gambling, gambling, and more gambling. And here's the shocking part. You can literally bet everything you own. Your watch, your phone, your car, your wedding ring, your jewelry, your property titles, even your clothes. That's right. In some places, you can gamble your clothes. You could walk in fully dressed and walk out completely naked. Literally and financially stripped bare. It blows my mind how many people are actually okay with this. And believe me, there are a lot of them. Inside every major casino, there's a full-on legal department ready to process ownership transfers of anything the gambler wants to bet. Why? So they never stop playing. No time to think. No chance to run. And if someone has nothing left, no problem. There are lenders inside the casino ready to hand out instant loans. Most of these casinos are partnered with international banks, all to keep the trap wide open. Every inch of the casino is calculated, even the music. Picture this. Someone wins $1 million, and boom, the entire soundscape changes. The room lights up, the vibe shifts, the adrenaline spikes. It's designed to make the winner feel like they're living a once-in-a-lifetime moment. So what do? They double down. Bet it all again. Even the slot machines are in on it. When someone wins, the machine starts singing, flashing, dancing. A crowd gathers. People clap, cheer, celebrate. The winner feels like a rock star and keeps playing. The others, jealous, hyped, ready to copy him. And the craziest part? US law actually encourages this madness. If you win $1 million inside a Vegas casino and walk out with it, you pay zero tax, as long as you can prove it came from gambling. That's right. The law treats it as clean money. It's like the government's telling you, go ahead, roll the dice. Now let me tell you how they suck the money out of you while you're playing. At every group table, you'll find people who look like regular players, but they actually work for the casino. Their job? Keep the energy high. They cheer, clap, drop carefully crafted phrases, words meant to pump you up and push you to bet more. If someone wins early on, these people start showering them with praise. He's on fire. Looks like the game's already his. Dude's got all the luck tonight. None of this is random. It's calculated. The goal? Keep the player hooked until he loses everything. And if the winner's a guy, the ladies gather around. He's treated like the king of the night. If it's a woman, the flattery shifts. Girl power all the way. Look at her beating all the guys at the table. She's owning this room. These lines are sharp, subtle, designed to feed egos and fuel the fire. Now throw in a glass of alcohol? That's game over. No logic, no limits, just greed and reckless choices. And if someone wins big and decides to leave, guess what happens? They're invited to dinner, or they're pulled into a quick chat. The reason? Simple. Don't let them walk out. During that talk, the whole conversation is about their unbelievable luck and how this is a once-in-a-lifetime streak. Before you know it, the player is back at the table, on their own. The person running these tables? He's no ordinary dealer. He's a performer, a magician. He can read body language, spot cheaters, keep the pace fast. And if anything feels off, there's a tiny button under the table he can press to alert the surveillance team. And that brings us to the heart of it all. Every single inch of a casino is under constant surveillance. Cameras in every corner, even heat-sensitive ones that can see what's in your pockets. Behind those cameras is an army of staff watching everything. From the second you walk in, your cash is exchanged for poker chips. Each bill is scanned, checked for authenticity, serial number, and whether it's been flagged or frozen. Then you're handed precisely counted chips. Every movement of those chips is monitored. How many are on the table? How many go in your pocket? How many your buddy tries to slip away? Everything is tracked, to the tiniest detail. In this world, no one truly wins. Even the winners, they end up losing. The only one who never loses is the casino. But then, in 2005, something happened that no one saw coming. Just two guys, only two, managed to break the system. They didn't just beat the casino, they wiped the floor with them. And I mean literally. They walked away with millions. From the very place built to take your money, they took it all instead. But the story didn't start there. It goes back 5 years earlier, in 2000, when the state of Nevada, and especially Las Vegas, was booming like never before. Investors were pouring in from every direction, building hotels, restaurants, and casinos left and right. Even the old casinos were being torn down to make room for brand new megastructures. Bigger, flashier, richer than anything Vegas had ever seen. The designs were on another level. Unreal luxury, but don't get it twisted. Vegas wasn't built for tourism, it was a trap, a masterpiece of deception. Around that time, a man named Eric decided to leave California and move to Las Vegas in search of work. He was 36, a construction contractor, smart, hands-on, and experienced. He planned projects, managed crews, oversaw quality. A guy who knew how to build and how things were built. The moment he arrived in the city, he was fascinated by the casino world, lured by the promise of fast wealth. But Eric was grounded, realistic. He knew those places were rigged. No matter how smart you are, sooner or later, you lose. Still, he couldn't stay away. He visited casinos often, watched people, studied their behavior. Sometimes he joined in, tested his luck. But it was always the same ending, loss after loss after loss. Yet there was one idea he just couldn't shake. There has to be a loophole in this system, and if I find it, I'll make millions. His first plan? Hacking the digital systems in the slot machines. You know the type, the big ones with a lever on the side. Pull it, spin the reels, hope they all land on the same image. Win, and you're showered in cash. In theory, your odds of winning are like 1 in a million. But people keep playing them because they're cheap. $1 per spin. Just enough to tempt your curiosity. Eric thought, if I can manipulate the system, force it to show matching images, I win. He tried everything he could, every trick in the book. But nothing worked. And with every failed attempt, one truth became clear. If I win that same game more than once, they'll catch me. No way they'd believe it was just luck. So he let that plan go. For the next 5 years, Eric stayed in construction. He built a reputation in Vegas. Reliable, respected. By 2004, he was 40 years old. One day, he was sitting in a coffee shop when he noticed a young guy crying hard. He walked over, sat beside him, and asked what was going on. The kid's name was Jeremy Lewis. He was just 20 years old, jobless, homeless, a complete mess. What Jeremy told Eric at first was only half the truth. But Eric felt bad for the guy, offered him a job in construction. Jeremy accepted without hesitation. Over time, they became friends. And as Jeremy began to trust him, he started opening up piece by piece. The more he shared, the darker his story became. Jeremy had a history of theft, drug dealing, blackmail. Jail time was practically routine for him, even at his young age. But what shocked Eric the most was when Jeremy admitted he was really good at counterfeiting money. Jeremy told Eric he used to counterfeit money and pass it off like it was nothing. No one suspected a thing. But eventually, he did get caught. Still, he walked free. Not a single shred of evidence tied him to the crime, and in that moment, Eric felt like he'd just struck gold. This was the guy he'd been waiting for all these years. He looked Jeremy dead in the eye and said, "I've been trying to find a way to crack the casino system for years, and now I've got it." Jeremy tossed out an idea so simple it was genius. Why don't we fake the poker chips instead? They're not even real money. They're just the casino's version of currency. That blew Eric's mind. All those years of planning, scheming, thinking outside the box, and that idea had never crossed his mind. Meanwhile, Jeremy said it like it was the most obvious thing in the world. And just like that, the real story began. Their first step was to test the idea in the field. They picked a big-name casino, but instead of stealing chips, they decided to buy some. Eric and Jeremy walked in, dropped $50 at the counter, and got poker chips in return. They played a few rounds at the slot machines, wandered around the tables, and then left, with 5 $1 chips still in their pockets. They expected someone to stop them, to question them, maybe even search them. But nope, nothing. As long as you paid for the chips, the casino didn't care what you did with them afterward. The next day, Eric called a meeting with his most trusted guys from the construction crew. Builders, technicians, guys he knew inside and out. He laid it out for them. "We're going to study these chips, and we're going to make perfect copies." He told them, "If people can counterfeit real money, we can definitely fake these." So they got to work. They sliced one of the original chips in half and discovered something unexpected. Each chip was made of a unique mix: clay-based sand, layered with different metals, all fused together with crazy precision. And to make that combo solid, you had to melt it down at extremely high temperatures before molding it into shape. After lots of trial and error, they finally pulled it off. Their first counterfeit chip was born. Same shape, same texture, same color, same weight. And thanks to Jeremy's counterfeiting skills, the color match was spot on. The whole team celebrated. They thought, "We did it! We cracked the system!" But there was one tiny problem. Only Eric noticed it. The chip sounded wrong. When you dropped it on the ground, it made a different noise. Now you might think, who cares? But in Vegas, everything matters. Casino staff are trained to spot the smallest signs of fraud, even sound. They tried everything to fix it. Tweaked the materials, changed the pressure, experimented with weights. No luck. Turns out the original chips were made by high-powered industrial machines that compressed the materials at insane temperatures. That's what gave them their signature sound. Handmade chips? They just couldn't replicate it. So the first plan? Dead in the water? Everyone went back to their day jobs like nothing happened. But Eric and Jeremy? They weren't done. Not even close. Then, completely by accident, Eric noticed something. All the chips looked exactly the same in size and shape, no matter the value. $1 chips, $100 chips, same design. The only difference? Color and the label on top. Eric thought, what if we just change the $1 chips, make them look like hundreds? Instantly, they'd make $99 profit per chip. He rushed to Jeremy and said, "This is all you, man. You're the king of color." And the two got to work. They grabbed 2 chips, $1, $100, and started studying them. First step, remove the sticker that showed the value. They tried everything, heat, fire, hair dryers. Nothing worked. Then they had a weird idea. Let's boil them. Heat weakens glue, water softens it. Why not? So they boiled the chips in a pot of hot water, and slowly the stickers started peeling off. Using tweezers, they pulled them out, clean and intact. Now they had a copy of the $100 label, ready to be pasted onto any $1 chip. And that was the start of their real operation. Phase 2 of Eric and Jeremy's plan was the real deal. Color matching. The $1 chip? It was white with thin turquoise stripes around the edge. The $100 chip. Gray with wider stripes, deep navy, almost black. While Eric was busy peeling off the labels, Jeremy worked in silence, perfecting the color mix. After dozens of tests and tweaks, he nailed it. A perfect match. Now they had everything. The shape, the texture, the exact color. All that was left was execution. And here's the crazy part. They pulled it off. 100% flawlessly. Even the sticker on top, the one that shows the chip's value, Jeremy copied it perfectly after 2 whole months of trial and error. Let me make this clear. They didn't just fake the $100 chip. They took real $1 chips and transformed them into hundreds. No need to build anything from scratch. They repainted, rebranded, and reinvented the chip from the inside out. Cost of the whole operation? Roughly $1,000. That included materials, a few chips smuggled out of the casino, and 4 months of non-stop testing. But the result? Mind-blowing. Every detail matched. The layers, the weight, the texture, the print. And here comes the twist. All that effort, all that genius, was poured into just 3 chips. Yeah, 3. Why? Because getting away with it was the hard part. Making the chips was easy compared to spending them without getting caught. One mistake, and it was all over. Everything they built would go down the drain, and they'd be facing serious prison time. So when the day came to test the plan, Eric and Jeremy sat in the car, parked right outside the casino, and they got into it. Eric refused to go in. He said, "Man, if one guy even looks at me weird, I'm gonna freak. My mind just goes straight to worst-case scenarios." He wasn't exaggerating. Eric was legit terrified. In his head, he was already planning his escape. "If Jeremy gets caught, I'm gone. Before they even think to come after me, I'm out of this state." But then, Jeremy walked in and walked out, like nothing happened. Not a second glance, not a single question. But what shocked them even more? The chips were universal. Same chips, same system. Every casino in the city used the exact same tokens. That meant one thing. They could repeat this trick. Anywhere. The plan was way bigger than they'd imagined. After that first success, Eric and Jeremy were buzzing with excitement. The very next day, they hit up another casino and bought $301 chips. Back at Eric's house, they locked themselves in the garage for 20 straight days. That garage? It was their secret lab, their underground factory, and after weeks of grinding, they finally finished their first real batch. 20 fake chips. They tested them in different casinos, and not once did anyone catch on. Things escalated. Fast. They started swapping out 20 fake chips a day. Cash was flowing like water. For 3 whole months, they pulled it off without a single red flag. But then, Eric had an idea. We need to switch it up before someone catches on. Their old routine was risky. Walk into a casino, act like casual gamblers, eat, drink, swap some chips, and leave. But doing that too many times? It was only a matter of time before security started recognizing them. So they came up with a smarter plan. Join real games. Buy legit chips. Blend them with the fakes while playing. No one could tell the difference once the chips were all in motion. For example, they'd buy in with $1,000 in real chips, then secretly add $2,000 worth of fakes to their stack. When they cashed out, it just looked like they won big. As long as they didn't go too crazy, it worked perfectly. And the new system? It was foolproof. Even crazier. Eric, the guy who used to lose constantly, suddenly started winning all the time. He became a legend in the poker scene. He was winning twice, once from the fake chips, and again from the actual games. The profits? Out of control. What started as a $30,000 monthly hustle exploded into $600,000 a month, and in just 2 months, Eric alone made $3 million. Their lives flipped overnight. Eric's wife? She was hitting the mall like a storm, buying 200 outfits every trip. One time she walked into a boutique and left with 100 designer purses. Eric. He leaned into his dream, buying houses, flipping old hotels, living like a king. The weird part? His wife didn't know a thing. He told her he was just a professional poker player, winning big from pure skill. But Jeremy? He went completely off the rails. Gambling, partying, drugs, you name it. And then came the worst mistake of his life. He met an escort at a nightclub and fell in love. Brought her home, told her everything, and she played him like a fiddle. She blackmailed him, forced him to buy her a house just to stay quiet, started demanding monthly payments. And Jeremy wasn't even allowed to call her. He had to send someone with the cash. This nightmare dragged on for 6 months. And Eric? He had no clue any of this was happening. But remember what I told you at the beginning? Everything changed when Eric found out the truth. He tracked the girl down himself, tried to make a deal, brought a lawyer, and offered her a fat payout for her silence. But she laughed in his face. She said, "You want me to talk to you? That'll be $10,000. Just for the meeting. And yeah, she demanded a monthly salary too." Eric and Jeremy were screwed. This woman only spoke one language: money. And the end? It came fast. Just 2 months after that meeting, someone knocked on Eric's door. He opened it, and a well-dressed man stood outside. "Hey, I'm your neighbor. My kid kicked his ball into your yard. Mind grabbing it for me?" Eric turned around to get the ball, and bam, the guy tackled him to the ground. Calmly, he whispered, "I'm FBI." Seconds later, agents swarmed the house. They raided the garage, found everything: the fake chip factory, the tools, the evidence, And how did they find out? That woman. She gave up every detail because Jeremy was late on a payment. After they got arrested, Eric confessed to everything, but he only had one request. I don't care what happens to me, just get that dog Jeremy in here with me. But what really blew the minds of investigators, even the counterfeiting experts, was that no one could tell the fake chips apart from the real ones. Not even with machines. Not even with the naked eye. That's why the judge hit them with a brutal sentence, 15 years in prison. But there was another option. Bail. $5 million. Yeah, $5 million. Insane. But Eric? He was smart, real smart. He'd stashed away plenty of cash, and he hired one of the city's top attorneys, a legal shark. And somehow, that lawyer got the bail reduced from $5 million to just $15,000. Eric paid it. Walked out a free man. But Jeremy? He was broke. Flat broke. Blew through all his money. Didn't have a dime to his name. And because of his long rap sheet, no judge was going to cut him any slack. As for Eric, his record was squeaky clean. And thanks to his powerhouse attorney, he walked away cleared of the major charges. Why? Because they couldn't prove the chips in the garage were counterfeit, and they couldn't tie them directly to Eric. So yeah, he got out like nothing ever happened. But the story wasn't over. While in jail, Eric got friendly with a certain someone, a Russian gang leader in his block. This guy was fascinated by Eric's story. Told him, if we both get out of here, I'll give you everything you need. Let's run this thing on a scale 100 times bigger. But Eric shut him down. I've got enough money. I'm done with this life. And when Eric got out, he meant it. He walked away. But a year later, that Russian guy, he got out too. And guess what? He showed up at Eric's house, tried to convince him again and again for a whole month. Eric kept saying no, until one day he gave in. All right, I'll work with you, but only under one condition. I teach you the method, you guys do the dirty work, and I take 25% of the profits. Just for the idea. The Russian agreed immediately. Deal. Teach us everything. But what they didn't know? The FBI had been watching Eric's house the whole time, day in, day out, round the clock, and in 2008, they raided the house, walked right into the garage, caught Eric, the Russian boss, and his crew, red-handed. Same crime, same place, same dumb mistake. And guess what? Same lawyer. And somehow, the miracle happened again. The lawyer got him off. Lack of evidence. According to reports, Eric had hidden away over $8 million during all his in-and-out trips to prison. And apparently, he'd been running his own side hustle. Passing off fake chips behind Jeremy's back the whole time. After their story hit the news, every casino changed the game. They added a new security feature. A microchip inside each chip, unique serial numbers, like real currency. And since that day, no one has pulled off a scam like that ever again. That's our story for today. If you liked it, don't miss the heist of the century. A robbery pulled off without weapons, without injuries, without a trace. And the thieves were at home, watching it live on TV. Or check out our breakdown of the most insane prison escape ever. The Alcatraz breakout, how it happened, and the mystery that still haunts investigators to this day.